All right. So we're going to kind of work on what I consider kind of like a blend between table and data visualizations.
Okay.
And so kind of like along the heat maps, it's kind of like a compromise, or it's a way to bring in data visualizations that other people are a bit more receptive to. Especially if you're working with like business users that are used to seeing tables. Okay, so we're going to look at subcategories and rows. And then we are going to look at sum of sales. And then we're going to sort it and align the headers to where they're left. And we're going to make it a gray color just so it's not overwhelming. Okay. Looks like Michael is caught up, so we will call this subcategory bar chart.
I'm there too.
All right, thanks.
What are we calling this?
Subcategory bar chart.
Okay.
We're going to duplicate it. And then we are going to go sum of sales and actually first we're going to grab order date and put it on columns. Year's fine. And blue pill's fine.
What'd you just do?
Sorry. I just wanted to check it before I said it. So you right click on sum of sales. And then you go to that quick table calculation, which is you remember what I said what table calculations are?
I don't remember.
Aggregation of an aggregation.
Oh, yes.
The inception. Okay.
That's right.
Aggregation.
Yes. And so then go to quick table calculation. We're going to go percent difference. And so the reason it's an aggregation of an aggregation is because we needed to aggregate to get to the sum of sales. And then we have to aggregate again to be able to show the percent difference of two sets of sum of sales. So we're going to right click it again just to make sure that the table calculation is going across the right way we want. And it's not. We want it to be going across order date.
Your little window isn't popping up.
Oh, you can't see my screen?
No. Well, we can see your screen, but not the context menu.
Oh, right. You think I would remember that? Okay.
So what's not right? Okay.
So we go to compute using, and then we go to order date.
Okay.
And so we're going to duplicate this just to double check that it's doing this correctly. So we'll go to the new duplicated one, and then we will clear table calculation. So this will bring us back to our initial view here. So we got 101 sales and 184 sales between 2020 and 2021. So we look here.
Michael, are yours the same as his, or are yours a
No,
little different?
my date's 2014 through 17.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
And
you might be using an older one. So let me did someone have a link for that other one that you were using?
This is
yeah.
the one.
Oh, you sent, yeah, Michael sent it in the Slack channel, but he sent it to just me.
I can send it to you, David.
Right.
How would you want me to send it to you?
You could try the chat in the StreamYard.
Okay. So, all right, I'll do Slack first, and then I will go to StreamYard 1 second, and then okay.
Private chat. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay. So I'll just grab that real quick. Okay, so I have subcategory and sales.
Well, that went a lot faster than when I did it.
And you can see here, because I didn't want to delete my other ones that I've been working on, that I have 2 data sources here now.
Oh, cool.
Does that look better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's pretty much the same, just the dates are different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got 78,000 for phones in 2016, 78, and then 105. Then if we look at the percentage, that seems about right. Let's see if we have one that's kind of like, so this is close, or it is close to 50%. So it's 5.9. That doesn't seem exactly right. So we'll go back to compute using. We'll try table across. Well, that should be right. Maybe I'm just not doing math in my head correctly.
So on sheet 3, so subcategory bar chart, second duplicate, you want us to do the quick calculations again?
This one, I'm just checking to make sure that I was doing this correctly. It looks like it is. Just the art number is kind of just not looking right to me, but I think we're good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to highlight 2016 through 2014, and we do that by left-clicking, holding Shift.
Wait, do we still want compute using table across or order date?
Either one will work. They're both the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now
That's what
we want to highlight all the tops.
Yep, except for 2017.
Okay.
And hide.
And hide. And so hide is different than filtering. So filtering means that I'm taking out of the view. And the problem with that in this case is since we need the 2016 data to give us the change to base it off of. If we filtered it, then we would get a bunch of nulls. So like I can show what that looks like. I go years and it disappears. So that's no bueno. So hiding, what it does is it removes it from the view, but it still allows us to take that information.
I got it. My verbal cues.
Okay. So this one is, I call it subcategory bar chart.
So do you want us to rename number 3 or duplicate?
You can remove the third one. We're just going with the change.
And what do you want this one to be?
Subcategory change.
Okay.
And for this one, I think it'd probably be better if we change it to circle instead of bars. And that means we can darken it up. And then we can add reference line. Do the distribution thing that we should be familiar with. Where we go negative 100, negative 60.
Okay.
We won't do it here, but one thing that we can get around that previous challenge we had if a greater negative exists is to use absolute value for that calculated field. But we don't have that problem here, so we're just going to skip that for now. And we're going to go max sum of sales. And get rid of the labels.
So we're doing 24, 60, 80 of average?
Maximum. Remember, it has to be in the max. Yep. Because you're basing it off of you want like the full coverage of dots.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So we got this and this. And now we're going to do something a little bit different. So again, we're going to take subcategory and I grabbed the wrong one. Put it on rows. And then we are going to take order date. And we're going to make it a green pill continuous on quarter. We'll start with quarter to see how that looks. And then we're going to go sales and put that on rows. And we should get something that looks like this. I'm going to bring up your screen, Michael, just to make sure you got this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. So the difference is quarter order date should be green pill quarter. So that'd be the second group. Yep.
Cool.
Perfect. So when you use a green pill, remember that's going to scale it all the way across, while discrete is more of just kind of focused on the individual dates and not so much the trend.
Okay.
Okay. That was a lot interesting noise.
Yeah, that's the We got like 360 for all of us, so we know when we're coming and going in the house.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Any questions, Mara? Are you good?
I'm there.
All right. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is dual access this. And you also want to hide that header on the right. Also, probably be a good idea to clean this up with getting rid of row dividers, column dividers, and grid lines. So you should eventually have something that looks like this.
Did you say you got rid of some? I know I did. I did the grid lines.
Yeah, just the row lines. So like the fourth option, if you go to format borders,
Yeah. Yeah. So I did
row
the,
dividers and column dividers. And then in the fifth
Yeah.
one is grid lines. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty safe bet to get rid of those for every visualization you make with
Yeah.
me. So
But did you do something with like a title? I don't know. Maybe.
Nope.
Okay.
I did not do anything with the title. The only other thing is I removed the header on the right side.
Ooh, I don't even know if I had like where.
Did you dual access?
No, I don't know what header. I don't know if I even had the header in the first place.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then. Maybe you're just clicking and forgot.
No, because you still have yours.
No. The second header. This one.
Oh. Okay, I don't think I even had that one over there. So, was I supposed to dual access?
Yeah, dual access. We got two here, some sales on the top.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we want that. Ah, okay. I'm following.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, there's just something off. All right. I'm there.
Okay. Michael, you good?
I think so. I'm looking for differences. I think I might be sorted differently. Oh no, we got phones now. Okay. So I think I'm matching.
Yeah, you can. It's easy to. So you can right click on subcategory.
Okay.
And clear sort. So there. If you just want it to look like mine. Okay, so then I'm going to go back to mine.
Cool.
We're going to right click on axis. And we're going to go to edit axis. And this is one of the few times that I would ever recommend doing this. And that is independent axis ranges for each row and column. And we'll talk about why when we get done with this. Also, make sure to sync these. And we know they're synced if they both look the same. So that's actually kind of good to see that. So I'll go back button there. You can see how that changed in the axis.
Did you click synchronize dual axes? That's how
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you have dual axis on the right one and then just go synchronize axis.
Oh, wait a second. Is there two ways of doing that? Okay, I think I did it in the other way.
There's usually more than one way.
Okay. Okay.
So
I think I'm there.
something like this.
Yeah.
All
You just got a way bigger screen.
All right. So next we're going to look at the top chart, which means it's going to be the bottom section of the marks menu. And we're going to change that line to circle. So we should have something that looks like this. All right. So this is a good stopping point for our first break. we'll make it a little bit shorter just because we had a little bit later start. So back at 7:10.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right. And we're back.
Oh, I'm still frozen, but I'm back.
Yeah, I've had that happen where the camera stops working on Mac, and it usually happens when
it is my camera.
Yeah, like, when it happens with me, it's usually like I have two programs sharing, video sharing at the same time, and that causes one to go blank.
Well, that's concerning because I shouldn't have two video sharing things.
Well, it might not be the same problem, but if it doesn't, like if you close out and it doesn't work still, what I would do, what worked for me, is to turn off your Mac and then unplug it for 10 seconds and then plug it back in and then turn it on.
Okay. I'll give it a try later, though. Things are just working really smoothly. I'm afraid to miss anything.
No, I hear you.
Yes. But yeah, the little green light isn't up.
Yeah, it was I was tearing my hair out trying to figure out how to fix it because like it took me forever to find that out. In some obscure Mac forums. It's like, oh, I'll try that. That's stupid enough that it'd probably work. And there.
Yep, and there it goes. Yeah. Well. Oh. Did you hear that baseball guy got murdered?
Oh. Are they going to talk about the Cardinals winning streak? No, I did not hear about it.
Yeah, that too. No, I don't know that. But isn't that something?
When did that happen?
Today.
Is it professional?
The Creighton baseball director.
Oh.
Oh, that news?
Yeah, did you hear he was shot in his front yard or something crazy?
Wow. I saw just a little bit of the headline. Something about tenant or something like that. I was just getting ready to apologize for being late. I was listening to how Midas, our dog, likes to be in the rain. So
it's all right.
Is it raining out?
I guess it was just really short. So while my wife was walking Midas, it rained. And so the other part about that is that she gave him a treat, hoping to be able to spray him down so he doesn't smell like a wet dog. And Midas was loving the treat, but he did not like being sprayed by this, I don't know, conditioner or whatever to make him smell better. So every time my wife tried to get closer to him to spray him, he would leave. And so now he doesn't want to be around her because he keeps thinking he's going to get sprayed. He's like, just let me have my treat.
Oh my gosh. My dog's favorite toy for the last couple of weeks has been a gourd. He's just been carrying them around, dragging them around. It's been something to watch.
Yeah. So when it's break time, I can go back to sharing pictures. But I don't want to take from our class time.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, it's not a big deal. So we don't have like this very structured schedule today. And it depends on how well we can get through some of these things. And if it carries over, then we can always work on that on Monday. Okay, so kind of reviewing the steps that we did so far. just to get a line chart, we actually did a lot, didn't we? And we have independent axis. We got dual axis. We synchronized them to make sure that both the charts are top of each other. And we also changed the top chart to circles. So what we're going to do now is we are, I'm trying to think how, so we're going to go OD calculate. So we're going to go to orders and right click and go to create calculated field for sales. And we're going to say sales OD max. We're going to create a fixed LOD. Sorry, did you say something more?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
So we're going to go fixed subcategory, and then we're just going to command drag, since everybody uses max, and bring that quarter down.
Command drag. Is there something else I'm missing? Because it keeps highlighting.
Oh, command left click and then drag.
Left click?
Yep.
Command
left click, drag.
That is just not working for me. Is it supposed to highlight? Oh, yes, highlighting is a thing.
Mine's not like highlighted, but you can see it when it's being dragged.
And when you drag it, does it automatically change to what you have?
Well, you drag it into the calculated field.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Okay.
I think I've been dragging the wrong thing. I've got to fixed subcategory.
Fixed subcategory, comma.
Yes.
So then I'll remove this.
Yes.
And then I'm going to command left click drag quarter order date.
Okay, that makes so much sense because I was not dragging that.
Okay, so you can't just type that in.
You can type it in. This is just faster.
Okay. I thought you dragged the subcategory like already in the calculated field. So, okay.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, but that does work. If you just highlight it, it'll drag too. So, noted.
So I don't know if I'm matching up on parents correctly or not. I've got the left curly brace clear at the left. And then,
let me zoom in.
Oh, so we only need one left curly. All right.
No, we're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
So to make this a valid, so you can see we still have errors here. So what we're going to do is sum around sales. We have to have an aggregation and we have to have an ending curly brace. So now it's valid. So you have to have, you don't have to have anything in fixed, but if you do, if there's more than one, you have to have a comma that separates them. So it's fixed space subcategory. So if I just wanted it fixed on subcategory, then I would remove the date. So what that would do is, since I'm fixating on this, it would take all of these different points and it would just like collect all of these for that subcategory and sum them up. But that's not what we want. What we want is each of these individual dots. And then to do that, we need both subcategory and the quarter date. And so all three elements in our worksheet are in this calculate field. Now, strictly like speaking, you don't need an LD calculation to do what we're doing. We could also do table calculations, but I just think it's easier to comprehend in LOD. Okay. So everybody here?
Yep.
So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this. As you can see, I called it max, but I haven't used max yet. The important thing to remember for LOD calculations is that even though you're aggregating sum of sales, if I did not wrap this at the max, it would be non-aggregated. It'd be record level. So that's extremely valuable. And the reason that's valuable is because I was able to get my sum of sales aggregation, but then I was able to aggregate that again. So what do you predict this is going to give me?
The maximum sum from the quarters
By each
subcategory.
Right. So if I just, instead of had sum of sales, I had max sales and I didn't do this, why would that not give me what I want?
Well, you have your y-axis has subcategories, so it would be misleading visualization, at least.
I mean, like, it may not be misleading. If I had max sum of sales, so like if I changed this to max instead of sum, what would that give me?
Oh, I think you may have froze a little bit.
No, I think you're frozen.
Yeah.
You're both frozen now.
Oh, no.
There we go. Wait.
Oh,
right,
you're back.
Moving around again.
Okay.
Okay, so you had.
So if I go to measures for the sum of sales up here on the rows, and I switch that from sum to max, what would that give me for each of these here?
Just the highest one.
Highest one. And that would be a large number or a small number?
Large.
Well, it'd probably be, it would for sure be smaller than the sum.
Exactly. And what we want is a very large number. We want the max sum of sales for the month. So you can see that there's a two-part to that. And since there's a two-part to that, you need to either use a table calculation or LOD calculation to have two sets of aggregation. So we have to aggregate sum of sales first, and then we have to find the max of that. So if I take that sales LOD max and then I put it on, actually, let's get our circle marks menu, which is the bottom one, and I put it on a label, what do you think the different values of the label is going to be for each dot before you put it on there?
A monetary amount.
Are they going to be different or the same for each dot across subcategories?
They'll be different at each dot.
Okay, let's test that hypothesis.
How come like the binder's first dot doesn't even have a number?
What's up?
Binders, the first circle doesn't even have a number on it.
Oh, that's because it's null.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Oh, binders? I have a dot for binders. I don't have one for copiers.
Oh,
Yeah,
but binders.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, but binders, that first circle doesn't have a number like all the other ones.
Oh, so you just go to labels and then
label.
left click labels and go to labels to overlap.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So a good call out. It's always good to ask those questions to that. Okay. So each dot. So Michael was right. So if we're trying to find, if we want to have the same number, we have to do another step. So we're going to go back in sales LOD max and we're going to edit it. And this time we're going to wrap it. So you ready for some inception fun? No, I am.
Cool. Oh man, okay. It's getting a little crazy.
So what does this do?
Oh, me too.
So we're going to hit apply and tell me what you see in the labels when we do that. Oh, you get a red dot. And the reason we get a red dot is because we went from an aggregated value and then made it disaggregated. So that's why you would get that error. So that's not a big deal. You just drag it off and then take sales LD max and then put it back on the label. And then tell me what the values are.
They're all the same.
They are. So we got the first part done. So everybody there?
Yeah, so it's basically, oh, wait, back up. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
And why are we wanting them all to be the same number?
Oh, that's an excellent question. You'll find out.
Okay.
So we're going to duplicate this, and we're going to call it min. And I like shortcuts. So like once you did all that hard work of getting all this logic to work, all we got to do is change max to min for the second calculated field. Super easy. I take min.
That.
Can't beat that.
Okay, where you dropped it on the label. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you just drop on label like the other one just to check it.
Okay. Yep. It's all the same. Still don't know why, but it is.
So we're going to create another one. And we're going to call it. I'm not feeling very creative today, so I don't come up with a good name. We'll call it monthly color code. So what I want to do is I want to check each monthly sum of sales to see if it's the max month or the minimum month. I just want that 1 month to be checked if it's the maximum month or the minimum month. So how would you do that based on what we already have?
Well, you do if sales equals, and then just take those formulas, right?
Correct. Yep. So we want to have the aggregation of the sum of sales, or we can use an LOD calculation. So we're just going to go, since we love LOD calculations now, we're just going to keep using them. So it'll be subcategory, and then our quarter date. Get to practice our left click drag.
Yes, I finally got that one down. It only took about 1 million times.
It's easier on the millionth than first time.
Good to know.
We're going to say if the sum of sales by quarter and since this is quarter, I should call this quarterly color code, not monthly, because that would be silly.
Yes.
And remember how to spell quarterly?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you.
All right. It's a struggle. We're going to say if this equals sales LD max, then 1, else if min equals -1, and then end. You don't need to do an else statement. So what does this do for me?
It'll Let's find out.
So if I put this on circles, how many colored dots do you think you're going to see for each subcategory? And we also want to make this a dimension. So you just can left click and then, actually, it's probably easier just to right click and go convert to dimension. Yeah. How many colors?
Wait, why would mine have a red exclamation point by it?
Is it in the calculated field? Edit. And then there should be error message on the bottom. Just tell me what that is.
Oh, expect closing parentheses or comma while parsing argument list for sum. Okay.
So check these to make sure that.
Oh. Okay. I think it's valid. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm there.
So how many colors are we going to have? Anybody know?
2.
We'll check that hypothesis. Oh, no, 3.
Yeah, because there's one for and one for Max, and then all the rest.
Close.
No.
There's.
But we want to have 2. And so we get 3 right now. We got blue, orange, and red. So we just use our handy dandy hide, because if I excluded it, then it would take all those dots away. We don't want that. So we're just going to hide null.
We put quarterly color on. Sorry, we put quarterly color code just in the marks, or do we put it on color?
On color on the circle marks menu.
Okay.
Shouldn't we change the -1 to red and 1 to blue? The orange and the reds aren't good.
Yep. That's just the default that Tableau gave us. And so we need to do that change.
And then null is keep graying.
Null is right click and hide.
Oh, okay. There we go. Cool.
I'm going to call the subcategory spark line.
Wait.
Subcategory.
What are we doing? Oh, new. Are we
Just
duplicating?
renaming it.
Oh, okay.
Nope. We're not duplicating anything yet.
Okay.
Don't worry, you're not behind.
Oh,
We're just renaming things. It's going to be
It's subcategory. What kind of line?
Spark line.
spark line.
Spark line.
Okay, so my thing with this is why are they shouldn't there be 2 dots each quarter?
Each quarter.
Or no?
So I know what you're thinking. So the reason, and if you're okay with this, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
reason
I
why-
think that's good.
The reason why the other dots aren't showing is we set them to hide. So we basically didn't define a color for all the other quarters if it wasn't max or min, and that's why it came up in the legend as null. And so, and when we did hide, we basically said get rid of all those that aren't, don't display all those that aren't min or max.
Okay. And so this is the min and the max of between 2014 and 2017.
Yeah, it's the complete range of data.
Okay.
And so what we did, so you're asking why did we want to have the maximum or the minimum month? Well, the reason is that it allowed us to do a check. So we basically checked each month against that maximum number. And so it's a dynamic number. We can't just hard code that, because if we hard coded it, what would happen next quarter?
Right. Or even if there was a revision to the data, right?
Right. Yeah, you want it dynamic, exactly. So you have to have something that is not going to break, because then you have to like imagine like building 100 Tableau dashboards and then having to go back and change it when there's an update. It'd be a nightmare. But this is not only just faster, but it also like trying to hard code it would also just be miserable because you have to do that for every subcategory too. So you wouldn't.
Okay, I get. Yeah. Okay, I'm following.
So we basically created a check that would only happen because, like, possibly, yeah, you could have like 2 months or 2 quarters within the same subcategory that has the same sales numbers, but it's very unlikely. And if it did, it would just be 2 of the same color dots. It's not like a huge deal, and that might be insightful anyway. So that's not a problem. But essentially, what we did is we created a logic test that would only bring back 2 values for each one, and this from a visualization perspective. So like I'm kind of like trying to explain this both from a visualization and Tableau perspective. The Tableau perspective of like why you would, or how to do this, but the visualization perspective of why you do this, you will be able to. We'll talk a little bit more of that when we actually have the final dashboard put together.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna create a new worksheet. We're going to go subcategory, and we get to reuse our max and min. So it's going to go back to check something real quick. Oh, that's right. So I'm going to trying to think. Okay, so we're just going to duplicate this.
The max.
Yep. And then we're just going to get rid of this outside part. And so we're just going to have this inner one. This is going to make it easier. And we're just going to call it sales LOD. I'll call it.
Go ahead.
Sales LOD sum, just so we know what it is.
Okay, don't click out just yet. Sorry, my dogs.
Sorry.
Okay.
This class is dog friendly, so.
That's good.
Cats, though, that's where we draw the line.
I can get on board with that. But I do like the naked ones. I think they're kind of cool and misunderstood.
I don't know if I have a strong opinion, so.
They're kind of freaky when you touch them, but it's okay. Like I said, they're misunderstood by their looks.
Well,
they look like they came out of Harry Potter.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I'm good. Sorry. Did I say that already?
No, but that's good to know.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I'm good too.
I'm confusing my thoughts with my words.
All right. Mona's good. Michael's good. I'm good. We're all doing good. All right. So next thing we're going to do is we want to create a range. So we want to have a standardized range for each of these subcategories, each of these lines of it. And we want it to standardize that range. So that means even if one has a lower min or a higher min versus another one, we want to still have a standardized baseline.
You're talking about standardize on sales, right? So you want to standardize on the sales monetary figures. Okay.
Yeah, we basically want to scale it. We actually want to scale it based on percentages between the min and the max.
Okay.
So stay with me. If it doesn't make sense, we'll talk through it. Okay. So the first thing we need to do to standardize this is we're going to call this sales LOD range. And all you're going to do is sales LOD max minus sales LOD min.
This might be a late question, but what does LOD stand for again?
Level of detail.
Okay.
So that's like, we could approach this either with level of detail or table calculations. And trust me when I say LOD calculations makes this a lot easier to understand.
Okay. I trust you.
Well, I'm glad you asked. I was thinking the same thing.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if
Didn't have
this is
that
something.
covered before.
Yeah. I mean, like that's, so if you, and the reason I call it, or I want to use it by the, let's see here. Be an aggregate. I'm trying to see where you find them. Oh, there it is. Yes, in the aggregate. So it's not in the table calculations. So this allows you to aggregate data without it. So like if I aggregated it and I needed to do that next level aggregation, I would need a table calculation. But the problem with the table calculation is that once you, it kind of reduces your flexibility in certain ways. Sometimes, or I guess I should say it's really hard to get like a, to have it where you, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. So it's like once you start using a table calculation, it's hard to get off of table calculations. With the LOD calculation, like you can switch between aggregated and non-aggregated. So like if I'm table calculation, then like I'm aggregating and then I'm like doing like a punctuation on that aggregation. And so like trying to do a table calculation on top of a table calculation is really challenging. Like it's really difficult. It's like, it's known as like a nested table calculation, which sounds terrifying, and it is. So nested LOD calculations though is a lot easier to pick up on, just because I think it's conceptually a lot easier. Okay, so we got a range here. And so this is going to be a number that we're going to compare against. So we're going to create, or we're going to duplicate this range. And we're going to say sales LOD last observation. Okay, so before we change this, so there's different ways to do this next part, but we're going to still use LOD calculations because it's good practice. So we're going to click OK for this for now. And then we're going to right-click on order date and create a calculated field. And we're going to call it max date. All we're going to do here is we're going to go fixed, subcategory, no, actually, we're going to go fixed without anything here. I'm just going to wrap order date like this. So what this basically does is it's just going to look at the whole data set and bring back that max date. And then from here, actually, you don't need to do anything else from here. So you hit OK and apply. I'm going to create another calculated field off max date.
I think I missed something.
Oh.
That was fixed max order date.
Yep, fixed.
Oh, colon.
Yep, colon.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And then, oh, no worries. So yeah, so that's just the syntax you would use if you didn't want to fix it on it and the dimension. And so when you don't fix on dimension, it's going to look at everything. So if I put it on subcategory, it would check that max state for each subcategory. So we're looking at last observation.
Oh, are we not creating a new calculated field?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Since we already have.
Oh, it's okay. I'm following.
All right. So if quarter date equals max quarter date, then some oh, I don't need this. And I don't need this. Which one of these? Okay. Let's hit apply.
Can you click OK, or do you have to hit apply then OK?
So the only difference is apply will just keep this window up when you click it.
Okay.
And then OK will just close the window.
We'll apply it and then close it. Okay.
So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap this whole thing in sum. So the reason we do that is if I just did sum of sales on that, then I'd have to find a way to aggregate everything, because it would throw that famous error of, you're mixing non-aggregated and aggregated fields together, which is a no-no in Tableau. So one way to go around that is you just wrap everything in sum, or an aggregation. It doesn't have to be sum. It makes things a lot easier, but it does the same thing. So this is the sum of sales. We want to have the max date. That's what messed me up before. Okay.
Okay, so sum.
And then we want to wrap this with quarter.
Okay.
And then one last thing we also have to do is we're just going to copy this, paste it after and. Whoop. Sorry, bad hotkey move. All right, let me try that again. So we're going to copy this and paste it over here. Then we're going to have and then we're going to have year and year. Well, there's different ways to do this, but this is just trying to keep it. I know it doesn't seem like it, but trying to keep this as simple as possible. And this should be max date.
Okay. Wait, so are we not summing it either anymore?
You can sum it. Yep.
So sum. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just a back button. Sorry.
That's okay. If quarter, close, and year.
If it's easier, you could also do something like this. Kind of line this up.
Wait. Okay. Yeah.
So we're basically, because if you just did quarter, then we'll just take that quarter. And so we need to have it check against both the maximum quarter and year. So the and logic just ensures that we actually have that latest bucket, which is the latest quarter and year that we're looking for.
Okay, I think I did it.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take that. sales LD last observation. We're going to create a new calculated field, and we're going to call it sales LOD adjusted last observation. I'll explain why we do that when we get done with this. Sorry for the long name, but I'm not in my brain's not in a pithy mood right now. So
I understand.
Yeah, no worries.
So we're going to take sales LOD last observation, and then we're going to subtract minimum from it. So it's basically the same thing as range.
Sales LOD min.
And then we're getting an error because we did not aggregate the minimum sales. You can just put minimum on that. Hit apply. And then we're going to have one more calculate field. Sales LOD range percentage. I think we can aggregate this, but if we don't, we can't. We'll just have to make some adjustments here. Okay. So I take this percentage and we're going to put it on columns. And we're going to change this to a circle. So now we're going to check our work. So easiest ones to check are 100%. So we assume that 100% is going to be, don't worry, we're going to spend a long time explaining this. So don't worry. So we got tables, storage. So those are good ones to check right now. So we got tables and storage at 100. So we're going to go back and look at our spark line. And we're going to find tables and storage. Tables is the blue dot, which is what we want. So that should line up. All the 100% should have a blue dot on that last quarter. That should be the maximum. So we should also have paper and furnishings. Paper, furnishings. Looks like we did this correctly. Hooray.
Okay. That's exciting.
So you can see here we have a bunch of circles in a straight line. So that looks like it's an error, but it's not. That's what we wanted. We wanted to have a standardized range of these dots so that we could compare against them easily. Okay. So the next thing, we're going to add a reference line, distribution, and then this is just going to be 0, 20, 40. And this time, it's going to be constant instead of average or max or what we usually use. And it's percent of 1. Why do you think I did that?
Because 1's the max. Right.
But then I could have also just did a max for the value. So the reason I did that is I wanted to have, in this case, since it's like a tight range anyway, it doesn't need to be dynamic because it's going to be within 0 and 100. And it's more meaningful for me to see the dots when they're not. Like if it's at 80%, I want to see that 100% because that's just going to make it easier to interpret as well. See that it's between that number. So I have high confidence that it's going to be between 0 and 100. So when you do that, then you can start fixing things instead of making it dynamic.
So label none or leave it?
Label none. Yep. Yeah, that's good instincts there, Michael.
Entire table?
I don't think it matters, but yeah, you can do either one.
Okay.
And we're just going to make it dark. And then we're going to name it to subcategory.
Wait, what was the last click? I missed it. New sheet? Oh, rename.
Rename, yep.
Okay. Subdash.
Call it range plot. Actually, I don't need to mess with the headers. All right. So we're going to create a dashboard now. We are making progress. I'm going to make this 1200 by 800 just to give myself more space. If you don't have space, then you can just keep it where it is. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create floating in the objects. Is everybody here? I better ask.
Almost. I'm getting my 800 in.
Okay.
All right. And
I don't. That's too much. Too much. Take it down a notch.
floating. Okay.
Oh no. I think I did bad things. Hang on, let me just restart. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
So you have to restart Tableau?
No. Gosh. No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. Don't you worry. I'm not that bad of a mistake. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're taking it well. Gotta say, I'm impressed. Your stoic reaction to life is impressive. So we're gonna take a floating horizontal container. So it's just gonna be floating around. So floating means I can just do this. And who wouldn't want to do that? I mean, come on, that's awesome. So while holding shift, and we know to hold shift because it tells us, thank you, Tableau.
It does.
We'll left click and start dragging our charts side by side in the order we created them.
Okay. Bar. Then we got a chart. Or change.
So you might be saying, well, that was a lot of work for something that looks terrible. And I say, we're not done yet. I just can't go fast because I want to make sure everyone is here. So patience is a virtue.
I'm there and it is not looking too good. What'd you just click? What are you doing?
So you
the little
you just just so get to get I just grabbed the outside just to make sure that I'm dragging the container.
Did you click something on the down arrow though?
I just wanted to highlight. I didn't click anything in the submenu. I just wanted to highlight this to make sure that the blue area. So if I did this, then if I did that, then it would just take it away.
Yeah. How do you make sure all of it is?
So you click on the worksheet.
Okay.
And go to the down arrow. Yeah, this must have been one of those things where I did something and I didn't verbalize it. So select container.
Okay.
And that will give you the full container.
Yeah,
and you can nest these for a long ways, and so you can actually start clicking select container for a while until you get to the container that you want on some of the more complex ones.
And I have my color like legend in the corner. Should I hide that?
Oh yeah, you can delete those.
Delete. Show. Okay, go. It won't even let me. Oh, I forgot. You have to click on the little X. Okay.
So I don't think mine are ending up in the floating one like what you have. Do I have to do anything special for that?
It's not important. Like, so I'm just going to take this actually now and put it here in the container. So the only thing you have to really do differently when you have a container like this is you just take a blank for now, and we're just going to put it up here as just as a placeholder.
Okay.
All right. So
wow.
we can see that we're making progress, but still not exactly where we want it to be. So a couple other changes we can do here. Let's get rid of these titles. Okay. And we're also going to get rid of all of these field labels and headers. That's on the top part of the charts.
So how do I make my 4 sheets uniformly inside of the floater?
So uniformly, what you can do is you go to select container, and then you'll have the blue. So you got select containers, you got the blue outline.
Okay, so,
And then you'll have this option here, distribute contents evenly. That's pretty slick, isn't it?
Well, it didn't do anything different. Am I still sharing? Yeah.
Yeah, let me take a look. Okay. I can see you're in container hell right now. Okay, so let's create a new dashboard.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a floating vertical, horizontal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Make sure your dashboard is a little bit wider. So go instead of range, go fixed. Yeah, and then go 1200 by 800 if you can.
Okay.
8,000 is a little high.
Oh, yeah, let's change that. Boom. Okay.
All right. So now we got our container. So now you just take the bar chart and then you left click, and while holding shift, left click, drag that into the container. Yep.
There we go.
Take the change while holding shift, left click, drag, and then take it to the right side of it.
So just do.
Yep. Hold shift while you're doing it. Yep. So whenever you want to put in the container, you have to hold shift, left click, and then place it in the right.
Okay. And then Spark.
Oh, you didn't. Yeah, you want to left click, hold shift, click that top part. Yep. And then move it to the right of that other chart. There you go.
Okay.
And now just do that for all the other ones in the order.
Spark then.
Yep.
And go to the right.
Yep.
And then range.
Yep.
Hey, there we go. Cool. Okay.
And then you can get rid of that legend, that container on the far right.
This one?
Yep. Just X out of it.
The one item, yeah. Okay.
And then still looks like you got a gap there. Oh, I know why. So you can left click the worksheet. One of the worksheets that's on the, yeah. Click that. Select container again. Now grab the top of the container where that little notch is.
Yeah.
Now hold shift.
Okay,
While left click dragging and place it there.
Okay.
Now take a blank.
Got it.
And then put it at the top.
Do I need to do a shift?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then you just adjust it. Now just remove all the titles and the field labels and the headers that are on the top part of the charts. And you'll have what looks like mine.
And then you said get rid of, what was the other thing? Get rid of the So
Yep. Field labels. Yep. Those are field labels. So hide field labels from rows. Yep.
Okay, so when I try to add a blank, it's like adding a blank to the entire dashboard. It like overlaps it.
Did you make sure that you could also get rid of the order date there on the second chart?
Oh, thank you.
Yep. So that's a header. So you just hide the header. You get X out of that. It's probably nothing. That's yep. And then the 2017 as well. Show header.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, Mara. What's the?
So when I try to put like a blank in, it like fills the entire dashboard and it doesn't like tile. It like overlaps.
Okay, so so left click on a worksheet and then select container and then find that notch up here.
Okay.
Let me go to my screen again. You'll see this notch here.
Yep.
When the icon changes to that 4 arrows.
Yep.
Make sure you have shift, left click, and then drag it beneath the blank.
Okay. Well, I don't have a blank yet. Okay.
Okay. Well, just drag it and just make sure it's in the dashboard. While you left click shift.
Okay. So left click shift.
It should look like it expanded a bit.
I don't know. It like goes like disappears. Okay. I may share my screen. I'm kind of afraid for it to happen. But...
We'll try it. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I think this.
All right. Everyone bear with me on this.
It's funny how containers is like the downfall of.
Okay. Can you see what I see?
We just nested like 20 LED calculations, but it's the blanks in the horizontal containers.
Okay, can you see my screen? Oh, yeah, right? You can see it?
Yeah, it looks right.
Okay, so if I go to put a blank, see how it goes over? Like it overlaps?
Okay, yeah, so go back to your other one.
Okay.
So select container and then grab that notch. Okay. Now holding shift, left click drag just a little bit up.
Shift, left click. So then is this what's supposed to
happen?
happen?
And then drop it there. Yep. Oh, so you didn't drop it in. So you have to drop it in.
Okay, so shift, left click.
Left click, and then drop, and then don't unhold shift until after you drop it. Okay, now take the blank and put it above. And then you can adjust it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
That was actually really good. That was like really challenging things we did there. And everyone followed along. That was actually really good.
Ooh, that's exciting.
I was nervous about actually going through this, but
well, I am wondering, like, what we're working on today. Like, work, real life. You know, is this like very experienced stuff? Okay, yeah, I'm like.
Yeah.
It's cooking and I'm keeping up, and I'm like, I don't know if I could go like do this at my job tomorrow.
I'm actually just trying to show you some of the more complex things.
Okay.
Just because you're going to see it in the future when you continue to learn it. And this is kind of that approach. And you know, if you get stuck in a later period, you always have the videos to go back to. And so we already did a lot of the beginner
okay.
earlier charts, but then like you can go back and like go through this again until it makes sense. But this is such a powerful way of visualizing data. You know, I really wanted to kind of go through that.
I just wanted to know if we were further ahead or if this was beginner. I was gonna be like, this
is getting into Jedi territory.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that because I'm following. That makes me feel better. Because if this was the beginner stuff, I'd be a little worried.
No, this is not beginner stuff. No, this is I want to like have stuff from my portfolio that I'm showing employers that I'm looking to be I'm showing that I'm an advanced Tableau person. So.
Okay. Following just status check. Got it. Okay. Good to know.
All right.
I'm a Jedi in Tableau.
That's right. They actually have Jedi training. And when I was learning Tableau and I was like, oh, I'm going to take Jedi training. That was not a fun phone call, talking to the accounting department about justifying them paying for my Jedi training. So, what is this dork? It's pretty bad when accountants think that. So,
when the accountants,
yeah, it's like you got no cred, no street cred.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so we are actually at break time.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I'd say 10 minutes is fine. And then we'll get back here and finish this up. And if we have time left over, I have a couple other charts that we can also work on. So
Cool. All right. See you guys in 10.
See ya.
have a good break. There's camera frozen.
Huh?
If there was more camera frozen, you'd be sleeping right now. I wouldn't know.
Is it still? Am I still frozen?
Yes.
Well, at least I can kind of still be here in virtual form.
No worry, you are not forgotten. All right, so we should all have something that looks like this.
Like my screen?
Yep.
The only thing I went and did differently is I went back and I sorted the first two, so that way those accessories across all four, and then appliances, etc.
Okay, yeah, and that's a good thought. Yeah, we do want them to be the same, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to go based on sum of sales. So we're going to go to the other chart that needs to be sorted, and we're going to sort by sum of sales. And you can see here it's not working. And the reason is because we're breaking it up with quarter. So all we have to do for that is find our sales LOD sum and drag it onto all. And then we go back and sort subcategory, field, and sales. And we got phones at the top.
I figured out I was just talking. I thought everyone was ignoring me. Okay. We need to take it back a notch. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay. I've just been talking to myself for like 2 minutes. Okay. So
apparently we were ignoring you.
Yes. Okay. I got lost very, very early on. So I got to the sparkline chart.
Okay.
Okay. So something about the sales LOD or some, where do we bring that?
Yeah. So if, so you just want the phones at the top. So let me see if I may have just was, let me just check this real quick. This may not be necessary. Yeah. Okay. So that wasn't necessary. I was scrolled down and I didn't think that it worked for some reason. So yeah, so you don't need to do the LOD calculations. You get rid of that. So yeah, so just go to sort and then go to subcategory and.
So sort on subcategory?
Yes.
Okay.
The sort order, descending, sales, and then aggregation sum.
But sort by field. Wait.
Yes.
Descending?
Descending, yep. So descending means yep.
Sales
and then aggregation sum. Yep.
Okay.
Descending sales.
And then you should have phones at the top. So like when I was down here, I saw accessories at the top and I was just like, oh, it must not have sorted. So it must be like something's breaking it up. But I didn't realize that this was down. I assume things a lot.
Okay. I got it. Phones. So now we have to do that to this last one too, right?
That's correct. And this one should be easy.
Sort by field.
Sum of sales and phones on top.
Descending sum of sales. Wonderful.
Someone's got some loud crickets.
It's good luck, Jiminy Cricket.
Me.
To go with your, it's to go with your nature background.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the whole thing going on.
You really some people just have a zoom picture in the background, but you go for the full ambiance.
That's right. And there's a light show later.
Oh, nice.
I just have a 3D printer.
I noticed that 3D printer before. That's pretty cool.
That's impressive.
It's my little brother's. He does drone stuff, and he bought it to make the parts that break when.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I caught my eye is that my brother has got a 3D printing company, and Yeah, they do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
That's actually a fun thing is 3D printed data visualizations.
And is that a thing?
Hmm?
I would need to like see like a what the product of that looks like.
Oh, it's like a 3-dimension. Let's see here.
Graph.
I'll have to Google it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm gonna like need to see what that is.
Yeah, it's like data sculptures.
Well, now I'll just make them print stuff. Print my art.
Yeah, so like a common one is like a cityscape.
Ooh, will you share your screen? Are you sharing your screen?
No, I'll share it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, and I just lost my window. Too many windows.
So now that they're all organized, sorry, side note to the side note. Now they're all organized by in the same. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but do we need to? Can we remove the y-axis headers?
All of them except for the one on the furthest left. Okay, so here's like a place that looks like they make 3D visualizations for museums.
Wow.
So you can see the little physical.
I can see that. Like it's to help explain the exhibit.
Well, I mean, it's to explain the exhibit, but like you can make like physical ones, like just for like as a decoration. Like it doesn't. So like I always thought it'd be neat to like create like a 3D visualization for like a sales rep, like give them an award of his actual performance. Like,
here, you did a good job. You're sure.
Yeah, this is what you did.
Yeah,
Oh, like the personalizer, the award.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
actually,
really cool,
put his
actually.
data on. Yeah.
yeah, you're kind of onto something there.
I think so.
You can borrow my 3D printer.
There you go. We can get a prototype out there and get some investors on board.
Yes.
Personalized 3D data visualization. Everyone else is thinking about like Apple Watch, but it's all about 3D printing.
Yes. You're onto something. I'm on board. Let me know when you need it.
All right.
Well, yeah, because I know that my brother's company talked about trying to get up something with like NBA. What they would do is like key moments, like things that would be now NFTs, they would 3D print.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then you have to also think about too, like a real like there's not as much as you think there should be, but like before I started data visualization, I actually researched a lot into simulation, like discrete event simulation and agent-based simulation. And you can really do some interesting like you're basically creating an environment obviously of like if you're like an assembly plant and you're like all the different factors and like how that's going to affect the whole like how much you're going to produce and stuff like that. Well, data visualization, like one of the reasons I really like it is that it can really pair with like any other specialty. So like 3D printing, simulation, systems analysis, like it all could be used to help people understand something because this goes again to visual communication. And there's ways to visualize quantitative data like we're doing now, but also to visualize qualitative data and a bunch of other stuff, and it kind of meshes into everything else.
I can believe that there's probably an augmented reality play in that too.
Oh yeah, AR, yeah, that's another frontier as well, and that's like a big one in UX design. But data visualization, I think you're probably already seeing it in like sports, where they have like a chart out on the field. But yeah, like you could like have augmented reality like on a if we go back to like the assembly line, put some glasses on and you can go to the different machines and it'll actually like have the performance of each one, or you don't have to look at a computer screen. You can actually have the computers basically out there and visualize it to where it's, you don't see it in its physical form. You see it in its like the status of it based on this, on the data behind it.
Yeah.
Or like, or you think about like livestock, like, or gardening. You could have like, you put your glasses on and see like all the different plants that need watering, you get the right percentages of everything.
Oh, sure.
Interesting.
You get early warning of different types of diseases. So
yeah, I was growing a pumpkin patch and it got taken out early.
Yeah. And so if you have sensors, so as long as you got sensors that be able to capture that stuff, then you put some glasses on and they can actually just 3D visualize everything out there.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's commercial greenhouses. There's, like Pioneer Labs in Des Moines that actually do hybrid experiments. So.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like all those things that like people talk about drones, like, so like one of the things is when people are talking about automation and predictive analytics, a lot of that has been hype, but obviously there's a lot of good stuff with predictive analytics and automation. But the more that like they advance that field and more things get automated, the more important data visualization is, because you have all this complex things happening, but you still need a human in the loop somewhere. Like someone has to pay for this automation. Someone has to check this automation.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more complex all this stuff gets, the more demand there's going to be for someone to simplify it so that a human can understand it.
Right, exactly. Keep it relatable, because once it becomes automated, it becomes a little bit more abstract, less tangible.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's why data visualization, the demand for it is going to continue to increase, because not only that's happening, but at the same time, more people are becoming familiar with data visualization, so there's more consumers of it. And so as there's more consumers, there's more demand. So they need more people who are good at creating it.
That even makes me think too. So one of the things my brother does, he's starting to do those drone light shows. Have you guys seen those?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, he could literally be doing that in the sky with those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he could. Yeah.
That's wild. I
You
don't
have
know.
a line of them and have which one's the max, which one's the min drone.
Yeah, move them all around.
Some charts,
There's some graphs in the sky. I don't know the entertainment factor of that, but
at least you get an A on a college class.
Yeah. Well, he didn't go to college, so.
Oh, that's probably like what doesn't need to.
Yeah, he pursued a different route.
That's probably sounds smart to me. Wasting his time in college.
Yeah, it was definitely the right move for what he's got going on. That's for sure. I'll invite you guys out to one of his shows someday.
Cool.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Come check it out.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, feel free to invite anytime. I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, I told Nate he could come out too sometime. He wants to see it.
I imagine, yeah. All right. That was probably our longest tangent. So if we're keeping score, that's nice. It was a good tangent, though. That was really interesting discussion. So if you have any other ideas, like feel free to share those, because I think those are a lot of interesting learning opportunities. So from here, what we're going to do is left click on each of the worksheets and then just go to entire view.
Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
It looks good, right?
It looks perfect.
Okay, good. Thanks. I needed my validation.
No, I'm happy to offer that.
I want to make sure I'm where I need to be. Okay, because I know I jumped the gun.
Oh, sorry. No, that's good. That means you are already. I'm moving too slow for you. That's a different. I mean, that's a very good side.
Good.
All right. So then we're going to get rid of the headers, and so let me go back to my screen. I don't want to rotate these. I want to hide them.
And should we remove where it says like sales a million times too?
Oh yeah, we don't need. So yeah, so like when we had independent access, I said we were going to talk about this. I haven't done that yet. We don't actually need that because this is a Spark line. We don't really actually care about how it's being scaled because it's not necessary in this case. And the reason is because we know what the actual values are based on the bar chart. And so each of these charts are telling us something slightly different. And they work together. So they're not technically separate charts. They're all part of the same
story
component of the visualization. I was not even a story so much. This is like all the key ways that you can look at this information, and it gives context to the other. Okay. So if I just had a bar chart of just phones, it's like, let me put it this way. A lot of dashboards, especially the ones that I have at work right now, the things that I notice first is that they have a bunch of charts on it, but it's the charts of everything, right? Mm-hmm. But these are a bunch of charts, but it's not charts of everything. It's charts about one thing. It's about sum of sales on subcategory.
Okay.
We could always change this with the dimension selection and the metric selection that we talked about before. So once we get this base logic down, and then if we play subcategory with dimension and metric selection, then you could really start looking at this in a lot of different ways. So like some profit, by region, state, everything else like that. And what that does, though, is it allows you to have that much better understanding of the specific thing instead of just having like everything at once. Because like people will say like they just want the numbers, they just want to see everything on one page. And when they do that, they don't actually get the insights. Like I'm working through this one right now where it's basically recreating a table for a client. Mm-hmm. And, it's common request. But like one of the things that, there's always like part of my team, like the project manager, like wants to recreate what the user wants, but then also like create a visualization to show like what you could do if you actually did more visualization. And the actual insights when you go through this would just be totally missed by the table, where basically like the second largest department by sales is also like the lowest in the benchmark that they actually care about. And so that's why this is important, because it would tell you, in this case, the products, but in my business example, the department, the ones that are up here, if you have negative numbers, that's going to have an outsized impact on your top line numbers.
Okay.
So it goes back to Pareto, which we talked about either the first or second class, where 80% of the effects happen in the top 20%. And so this is an actual visualization that helps you do that. So we're not quite done yet. So we're going to right click on the worksheet, not the reference line. And we may have to go into the worksheet. So find some space here that's not reference line. And we're going to go to borders, and we're going to have row divider. And I'm not seeing it do anything. Oh, that's why. Make sure level is on the right-hand side and not do what I did. Okay. And so we don't want to line that thick. Something like that. And we're going to find, oh, sorry.
Okay. I think we go back to what you clicked for on the pane.
Yeah. So the pane is just a white line.
Yeah. So what, okay. You did them okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And just make sure it's white.
And white. Yes. Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah. That's what it was. Okay.
I missed how to get the edit border.
Okay, so find a white area on the right-hand side of the reference line. You don't want to hit the reference line. So the whole thing is like a reference line. So you have to find that smidge in between 1 and 105. and right click format. Yep. And then go to borders. And row divider. And then you want to make sure that the level is on the right. Yep.
Wait, okay. And then go back to pane.
You go to pane and then click. Nope, you're good. Go to row divider. Yep. Line. Second thickness and then white.
Wait, no.
You're just a little bit thicker. The second one.
Yeah, but then go up one and do it a line, not the dash.
Solid. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Yep. All right. So then we're going to look for whatever this column is. We don't want the column. So it's in grid lines. So we get rid of that.
Column?
Yeah. So it's the fifth icon up here. So this is the lines. So this is where the grid lines are.
Okay. Okay. And we don't want grid lines?
Don't want grid lines. We don't want columns.
None. Okay. So just a straight line across.
Right. So go to columns section. Yeah, there it is. It's hiding. And then we're going to do the same for the difference in sales, which is our second chart.
Get rid of grid lines.
Yep, we don't want the columns.
And then are we wanting to do...
Yeah, and then we also want to bring back the
row header.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So then a couple other things we can do is to get rid of the grid lines in the first bar chart. And then we can get rid of the axis for the spark lines, which is also the fifth icon.
Get rid of the axis.
Oh, sorry, zero line. They call it zero line.
The zero line. Under columns?
Rows, actually.
Okay. Go back. Rows. Zero line, none.
So that should look a little cleaner.
Yeah. Looking pretty sharp.
Okay. So one thing that's just going to like bother me because I'm kind of a perfectionist on these things. So we're going to go into the bar chart and we're going to duplicate it. And it's going to be like pretty easy. Oh, I'm not sharing. So we're going to call this subcategory labels.
How long have you been working with Tableau?
A couple months.
Stop.
I'm kidding.
I need an honest answer.
Oh, you didn't believe me? I needed to say that with more confidence. Let's see here. I started using Tableau the second year of my first job after I got out of, well, it's just my second job. I'm going to have to do math. It's been a while.
Like years?
Yeah, years. I would say since I was 28, so 8 years.
That's good to know. That makes me feel better about my abilities.
No, you're fine. You're doing great. I mean, like I said, this is more advanced.
Yeah. What did you get a degree? Did you go to college? And if you did, what was your degree?
So I was originally an accounting major, and now I'm a designer. So it was definitely a
like graphic design.
Dataviz designer and UX designer.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So that's what you ended up graduating with?
No, in college I was in business administration. I started at accounting, went to business administration.
Okay.
And then I joined the Navy.
Oh, okay.
And was an intelligence specialist.
Oh.
And then I was a tech support analyst, my first job back. And then that's when I was researching like simulation and business process management tools. And I found Tableau, and I recommended Tableau for use in that job. And so then basically I created my own job from there to show the client that I was working with or the employer I was working with how they could use Tableau. And so I was working in a computer lab, just experimenting with Tableau, learning it for the first time. And then from there, I went to Gallup, which is the consulting survey company. And so that's when I learned how to use Tableau with survey data. And that's its own like can of worms. Like you would hate me if I started going through survey data analysis. Which we still might do on Monday. I don't know. We'll see.
I would be kind of interested in that, but
yeah, no, actually, yeah, I'll prepare Monday for survey data analysis. It's a good subject, and it also solidifies some of the other concepts because it works a lot with ordinal data, and it's something you're probably going to see in the workplace and how you'd use it. Because basically, like this, because it actually goes full circle with UX design as well, because it's qualitative data. What you're working with.
Okay.
And that is really powerful when you start combining that with this quantitative data, because you really you want to kind of switch between the two. And I talked a little bit about that in the lecture, where you want to use quantitative data to force you to go out and talk to people and observe things. Same thing works with the survey data, because survey data, you can collect like full responses. And so then you can start to see like, a store, let's say I got 50 stores and one store's doing bad. And I know that through my quantitative metrics. Well, then if I look at the survey responses from that store, then I can start to see what words are being associated with a bad experience.
Okay. That is interesting. I love to know how people always start out, because no one ever does what they started out doing or continue to do.
True. Yep, that's true.
Makes me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Tableau is something like people either like love it or they just don't get it. And it's really hard for like people who see spreadsheets all day and who are like not like into it when they first see it, to get them to ever like pick it up, because you'll see a lot of times where people are learning it, but then they won't touch it for like 3 months. And if you do that, you'll never get the muscle memory. Yeah. Because really what you're trying to do is build your muscle memory with the tool, because then you think faster and you're basically thinking through Tableau and you're just asking these questions, and that's when you start exploring. And that's how you get to these more complex things, because then you're like, oh, actually, I really want to like create a new chart so that I have more even charts for everything else, so I distribute evenly. Because people, if they don't really care that much, are not going to put in that type of effort, and they're not even going to think about it. Like they won't even notice like that they wouldn't even think that you could do that, and nor would they ever think that they would want to do that.
I like that. That's fun though.
Yeah, and
you can't even do, or what you
yeah,
don't
and
even
you'll
know
get
what
to
you
the
can
point.
do.
Well, yeah, and that's part of it. Like you need to have knowledge of what you can do before you, because like the hard part is what to build or why to build. The how to build is easy, but like most Tableau training is about the how to build. But the problem, like I talked about before, is that once the training's over, then it's like, okay, well, how do I solve my own problem? Okay. And it's really hard to do that through just like step by step. And so hopefully I'm kind of helping show how you can approach a problem where you just have a data set and you want to start looking at it from like, what's the spread of data, that data discovery piece, and different ways of being able to visualize it. And you don't really need like, I know that these are some complex topics, but we don't really need like really complex charts to accomplish this.
Mm-hmm.
The concepts are a little bit complex, but the actual building of the individual charts is not that bad.
Yeah,
except
but
for
it's
maybe
important
like
to know what the types of charts you can use to build and what they communicate.
Yep, exactly. And so you can see that we're not just picking a chart, we're picking multiple charts and we're combining them so that they all have their own strengths. And so when you combine them, then you really get the full power of it.
Interesting. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, no worries. So this is subcategory labels. So I have a capital LA. I don't know why, but we're going to keep it. And so then I have subcategories that are in rows, and then the other one that's on text. And so basically this is the worksheet itself, even though it looks like it's a header. So this is like our fake header. So we're also going to get rid of these row bandings. So that's the middle.
Why
format.
Does mine look like not like yours? I have like two.
I love this game. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Always got a new challenge for me. All right. So you want to have entire view instead of standard. It's the first thing. And then you want to hide the header.
Oh, okay. Okay. It was okay. I'm there. I get it.
And then format, and then you want to get rid of the row banding, which is the third option, third icon, and you'll see row banding.
Row banding with a B?
Yeah, it's the third. It's the paint bucket, third one.
Oh.
Yep.
And none?
None. Yep. Yep. Looks good. So how are we doing, Michael? Got this? You're on mute.
Yeah, I think we're good. I'll share it too, so that way you can always take a look.
All right.
I know. I like to always just continue to share mine so you can peek over and let me know.
So it looks like we got lines still, but that's not a huge deal. So if you go to the fourth option instead of the third, you can get rid of the row dividers. Yep. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our dashboard. I just hit the back button and I didn't want to do that. Okay, so we got our labels here, and we're going to left click and we're going to shift. So we should all be familiar with this now. And we're going to hide the title. We can go back to the format menu to get rid of those annoying lines. So that'd be row divider. So that's the fourth option, row divider. Okay.
Okay, wait. Who's sharing their screen? Okay.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen.
I'm like,
Sorry.
wait, that's not what's happening. Okay.
Since we have this.
Okay, and so we're supposed to shift and move it in. Oh, wait. Time.
Yes. Yep. Left click, shift, and then it's going to be on the far left side. So if I X out of this, it should look like this when I hover with the shift and left click. I drop it before I get rid of shift.
Okay.
That's your homework assignment over the weekend, Maura, is to practice that move 500 times.
I know. Now it won't. Okay, let me try it again.
Need some container practice.
I know. Well, me and Ronnie can work on it together. But it's not like letting me get into the...
You're not using a trackpad, are you?
Well, I am. Okay, you're right. That's probably my first problem. Okay, shift and drag. Because you want it to be in... Wait, no.
Yeah, I want it to be on the left side.
That's not at all. Yeah, but you know how we made like a vertical floating tile. Is that what you call it? Don't you want it in that?
Yeah, I want it in the container.
So every time I do it, it won't go exactly where I want it to go. No. Because the blank one, it pushes the blank one on top to the side.
Oh, well, X out of the blank one.
Oh,
X this at the top, remove it, and then try and put this to the left, and then take another blank one and try and put it on top.
That would definitely. Do I still need to hold shift when I move the blank one?
Yes. If you're trying to add one in.
Okay. Dang it.
Yeah, we are definitely back in container problems.
Why is this happening to me?
Okay, so you want to float your labels?
What do you mean?
Okay, actually just click on your labels and X out of it.
Okay.
And then now go back to tiled and left click while holding shift on labels. And then drag it, but don't let go of shift.
Okay.
And then move it to the left area until it highlights. Okay, so if it's not highlighting, then try and put it to the right of the chart for now. Is there a container there?
This should be a container.
So you have shift, you're holding shift and it's...
I'm holding shift. I wonder... Okay, but when I stopped holding shift, it worked.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And then...
I don't know why that happened.
Ah.
Sometimes Tableau has a mind of its own.
It's shift. That's what the issue was.
Really?
Yeah. Once I stopped clicking shift, it just worked.
That's weird because I have to have shift for it to work.
Well, maybe it's because I'm on public, maybe?
Yeah. That'd be weird. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine that they would. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good though.
All right. Yeah. Problem solved.
All right. So we're going to now get rid of this header. And then one of the things we can do then go back to the labels is to make our text a little bigger. So we just left click text if we want to change text. And we're going to go 14 and bold. We'll go Tableau bold. Yeah. And we'll soften this a bit.
You left click it or right click it?
Left click. Whenever you want to customize it, not based on data, you left click it.
Will the window automatically pop up?
Yep. And then you just go to this 3-dot menu on the text.
Oh, okay. That's what I missed. Okay.
And so this little bracket here with subcategory is just telling you that's coming straight from the data. So it's dynamic.
So you did 14 and then you bolded it?
Tableau bold. And then I did the third one down for gray.
Okay.
Okay, so I might have gone a little bit large there, but that's okay for now. So last thing, well, so okay, so now we're going to have some container fun here. So we're going to have to float a vertical, and we're going to have to take our labels and put it in the vertical.
Okay.
And then we got to take a blank and put it at the bottom so that it can replicate the axis for the other charts. So then we left
dragging. We want to, okay, I think I'm following.
And then you put the container back in.
And we want
to. So it's like Tetris.
Okay.
So it should look like this.
I used to be really good at that game. And then we want to blank in the floating vertical container?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And it's at the bottom because it's going to replicate that axis.
Okay. That's where I might. Okay. Now shift's working how it's supposed to shift. Wait, maybe it didn't.
Shift key works again. Yes.
It is working now. Okay. So then shift, drag. Ah! Now it's doing what it's supposed to do. I think I did it.
Awesome. So real quickly, I know we're a little bit over time, so if you don't mind a little bit more here. But I'm going to go to actions real quick. Go to highlight.
Where were actions again? Isn't that up at the top?
Dashboard actions.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then we're going to just click subcategory where everything is connected to everything.
We add action, highlight.
Yep. Highlight.
And then,
yep, we're highlighting.
And then what did you, sorry. What'd you
it's all right. I'm sorry. I'm going fast just because and it's making us go slower now.
Okay.
So let's just highlight dashboard 3, select everything selected, and selected fields is subcategory because we're basing the selection off of subcategory because that's how all these charts are tied together.
Okay. Okay. And then, okay.
Hit OK. Hit OK. Now when you click.
Oh, yeah.
So I can see that I have an error here. I don't have. Well, it's not an error. I just don't have it sorted correctly. See, I got a nest.
And which one? Subcategory change?
Yeah.
What were you sorting? Sales?
Yeah. So I got a nested sort, which is something I don't want. Oh, that's all I had to do. It was just nested by default. Okay. So that should now make it work. And
so you don't want it to be nested? You want it field?
Right. Yeah, okay. You just want it to be straight. Yep. So one last quick thing is go to labels. You can get rid of that tooltip because that's super annoying.
Tooltip? Where are you seeing that?
So if you go to the labels worksheet.
Okay.
Go to tooltip and then uncheck show tooltip. So it's not popping its annoying self up when you're clicking the label.
Oh, okay. I remember that. Okay.
So if you just see here, like all the information we have and like how to read this and like why, so like when you, so it's kind of similar to like, we're talking about jitter plots and how a disaggregated view could be more truthful or meaningful than like an average because you get to see all the data. And here you have information with all the spark lines of like each individual item, but then you also get that bigger picture and it works for all the other ones as well. So like if I have difference in sales, I can see that the majority are positive compared to the previous quarter. I can see that most of them are at their max and that you can see that again with the range. And you can just see a little bit more clearly about where each of these different items are. So we know that right now supplies is the worst one, but that's not a huge deal. It's not a big driver of money. And so that's why this simple bar chart of sum of sales is important because it tells us what the priority of each of these items are.
Why is your shading different on percent difference in sales? Oh, it's because you were clicking on things. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that's not what mine looks like, but I figured it out.
And so one thing I would like to do on top of this, but we don't have time right now, is to actually create aggregate ones where you see the total trend for the whole thing up here and the total range up here and the total change up here. But you don't really do that here because then that would not be meaningful. You put here as a big number, which just tells you what that number is.
Are we going to do that Monday?
We can do that Monday.
Okay, cool.
But first, you two have to help Ronnie get to this point. And then we will.
She doesn't like the containers either.
Yeah, the containers are going to be a challenge.
We'll get figured out.
No, I'll make sure to email Ronnie and let her know to watch the video. And that should, being able to rewind should make it easier.
Yeah, where are all these videos located?
Again, I was going to ask that question, so I'm glad you did.
Well, for the great price of $49.95. No, I'm kidding.
You ruin your jokes halfway through because you start laughing.
I know. I know.
Dead giveaway every time.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to work on that. That's my homework.
Yeah. Wait to the end.
Yeah. I know I'm just ruining my dry sense of humor by giving it up too early. So there is, I've been posting them to the Google private channel. So I haven't actually been on there, but I know that I've been recording each of the broadcasts and been setting this up so I can.
So what's the Google private channel?
I imagined you all had access to it already. See, view on YouTube. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you need to. I'll ask Nate about it, like how you get access, because right now I don't have access because it says the video is private. It might be because I just like the type of Google account that I have right now. I'm not on my CAN account. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Thanks for letting me know that. I just assumed you all had that figured out with the prior class. So I'll make sure.
Is it like the Google Drive thing that we had?
No, this is actually a YouTube channel, but it's private, where you should have all the videos uploaded. And but even if even for whatever reason it didn't do that, I still see in StreamYard all of the videos that I recorded. So it records it regardless, even if I mess that up. Yeah. So at least on my screen, I can download all the recordings. So don't worry, you'll be able to get the videos. If you want, I can see how to get this access, and I can make sure to share that out tomorrow if you want to kind of look at this over the weekend. Otherwise, I could just let you know on Monday.
Yeah, you can let us. I mean, me personally, I'm fine with knowing on Monday so that I can watch Thursday's class.
Right. Yeah, I'm saving all the fun stuff for Thursday now. So thanks for letting me know.
Great. Well, the life of the party won't be there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have to liven it up with all the fun activities.
Well, I'll be sure to watch it. Give me a shout out.
I'll give you at least one shout out, maybe two. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, good. As long as I'm being considered.
Of course. Don't worry. You will be gone but not forgotten.
Love to hear it.
You can actually take this picture and just, of how it's frozen right now, and then just have your computer running while you're not there, and similar experience. We'll just assume you're on mute.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think this is a feature, not a flaw.
Well, you'll never know. All right, you guys. Well, have a great weekend.
Yep.
I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, if you have any questions or anything else like that you think of, just write them down or feel free to ping me, and I will make sure to answer those.
Perfect. All right. See ya.
See ya. Have a good weekend.
Sounds good. You too.
Yep.
Make sure to save your work.
Yeah, I was going to ask you something too. The label.
I got office hours for 20 minutes, so you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the labels, I couldn't get them to be bold, so I suppose I should share.
Yeah. So actually, my labels are probably bigger than I want, so that's probably a good thing you didn't get that.
Well, no, but I was setting them, and they wouldn't stay set, so I was going over the text.
Yeah, I'd actually reduce it to 12. I think that probably will look a little better.
Okay, so I'm setting it to 12.
You got a bold. Yeah, you got it.
But do I have? Okay, so I'm gonna hit bold, and I'm gonna hit 12. But do I have to highlight this in order to make that stick?
Oh, wait a second. I'm looking at my own screen. Hold on.
Yeah, that makes more sense. And you know what? I think I need to highlight what was there for text because I wasn't doing that before.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have to highlight.
That, I think, can make the difference. Okay, cool. That's one of them. Then the other one is, how do I get this to line up? Because I couldn't find a way to...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so So I'm back on my screen. So you go to floating and you go to vertical.
Okay. Oh,
and then you
put
put the
underneath.
labels chart in there, and then you put a blank underneath to replicate. Because the reason it's not lining up is because you don't have an access for the labels.
There we go. I guess I should have thought to put that underneath there. Okay, cool. That's good. Okay, so the other thing that I noticed, and this is just me getting sort of nitpicky,
Yeah, sure.
is you see how when I press accessories, that I now have multiple gradients here, where when I unclick it, it changes the gradient.
Can you show me that again?
Yeah. So this is in one color. That's another, and they're evenly spaced. If I'm going to press accessories, all of a sudden now I've got this set of colors.
Okay. Yeah. So what that's basically doing is, if you edit reference line for that worksheet.
Okay, so I'm going to go to differences, I think. Is that the one? Yeah.
You actually don't have to go to that screen. You can go back to...
I can do it from here?
Yep.
Okay.
And edit reference line. Yep. Okay. And that button that says show recalculated band for highlighted selected data points.
Oh, okay. That fixes it. Let's see. Nice. Okay, cool. All right, so then I need to come in here and do format for...
Yeah, just cleaning up the view.
Yeah. So, trying to remember what we did here. So...
I also think your reference band for that second chart's a little bit off.
Okay. So we go back and do that first?
Yeah.
All right, so edit reference line.
It should be negative 100, negative 60.
So 20?
Negative 20, and then, just the inverse of that. So it's then 20.
So, yeah, okay. And then by 20, so that would be
60.
Yep, and then 60. And then keep going?
Yeah, and you can remove that 40.
Yeah, first up by 40. Yep. Okay. And then that would be 100.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, so you're just trying to create 5 equal buckets there. Click OK.
So then this one would be the same, right?
It would be different because it's between 0 and 100. So it would be, so you want to have 100. So that's the only thing you need to add there. So you got 4 buckets, so you just want 5. Yep, that looks good. No, you want 0. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool, good. All right. So back to here, we're going to do format, and then we're going to do this. We're going to go pane none.
Right.
And then...
well, actually, that wasn't actually needed, but it doesn't hurt anything. So you go to the 4th option.
Okay, do the borders.
Row divider. And you move that to the right. So that basically moves kind of like the hierarchy that is applying the rows to.
Okay.
And so then change that to white. You want row dividers to be white, and then the second thickness and solid.
Cool.
In the white color.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, and then was that everything? Is that...
No, the spark lines needs a little cleanup, and the bar chart needs a little cleanup. So just right click on an open area of the spark line format, and go to the 4th option and remove all of the row dividers.
Okay.
And go to the 5th option and get rid of the 0 line and grid lines.
Okay, so, okay, and that's right below it. Okay.
Okay, that looks good. You could also get rid of the, I think it's columns. And the 4th icon. And column divider. Okay, that looks good. Now go to the bar chart and right click that.
So the bar chart would be this one. Okay.
Yep.
And then anywhere?
Yeah, just right click on format. Not in the axis though. And columns, yep. And so that should be grid line, so it's the fifth option. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I mean, you can keep the axis ruler. It's not a huge deal, but if you want to get rid of it, you could just go to axis ruler, pull down menu on rows. Yeah, and then go to axis ruler, which is...
Oh, sorry. Axis rulers, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, so that looks cleaned up, all nice.
Cool. Cool. All right.
You can see how much information you get out of that just with 4 charts.
Yes, I really like it. The other thing I was really curious about is, okay, so this is basically 100%.
Right.
And what I was looking at is I'm like, okay, I'm not sure that I get all this information. Like, I think there's part of it seems incongruent. So this is saying nearly 100%. Previous or difference to sales is not, and so that seemed a little bit confusing. And this bar chart seems substantial, and the peak was a while ago. So these 3 below it, those peaks are right now, and so having them at 100% makes sense. So what I didn't get is, like, if these 3 are near 100%, or their maxes are clear to the right, and they are near 100%, then how come, since this one's almost 100%, that the max is not there? Unless it's saying...
Well, that's because you're looking at each individual item. And so remember, we have independent axis for the spark lines. And so they're based just on, so like if you look at the fasteners, that trend looks the same. And we know that fasteners is the lowest one because of the bar chart. So that's the importance of the bar chart, is it's basically anchoring our expectations about what the actual amount is. So the second chart for the difference of sales is just looking at the difference from the previous period. So this is looking more at like momentum.
Previous to current?
So like the previous quarter. So that's the previous quarter.
So
that's probably needs a better label. The second one probably needs a better label. So that's like, so we're looking at a lot of years of data, but that one's just looking at the previous quarter of data.
Okay. So part of it was getting me confused is I saw 2018 here, but you go up here and it's 2017 Q4.
Oh, that's just the automatic labels. You could change that by right-clicking on. So like if you look at mine, you can see that I got 2015 and 2017. That's just how it automatically did that. So you can just format axis, or I'm sorry, edit axis, and go to tick marks, and then you could change it if you want it to say something different. So you could force it to, fix it to a different way.
Gotcha.
But to that other point, so this at 98% makes sense that the blue dot is back here because here is 35,642 and the current one is 35,224. So it's not quite to that max, but that number. So this.
And it's slightly left of these 2 at 100. So, yeah.
So part of it is how we're summing this. So what we could do, it might make it easier, is this, we might want to filter this till it's just the current month. Because that might change the order a bit.
Right.
And so then we could say, this is the current month of sales. This is the change from the previous one. This is the overall trend, and this is that current month range. So yeah, so I would probably recommend that change to what we currently have.
Okay.
But yeah, so like the whole idea of like that first bar chart. So like the way I like to think about it is that's like the importance of it. Like it's more than like, because like you need other numbers to tell you what the performance is, because like if you're
sorry to interrupt you, but it's kind of like grounding their reference. It's like getting everyone to the same reference point.
Exactly.
And then these other ones are different perspectives to that same reference point.
Exactly, because you're basically just trying to get context. Like if the trend is like, the last thing you want is to say, oh, the trend's bad, but then not know like how important it is on your overall operations, or whatever. Like if it's like a survey data, like you don't want to like go do a bunch of things for a segment of the users or customers that are not your target. So yeah, it's always good to kind of look at data in these multiple lenses, because that helps you provide the insight, in an informative way that's going to appropriate the right action. Because if you don't provide that, like if I just have that bar chart, that's only going to tell me so much. There's so many follow-on questions.
Right, and this could be one of those things where this is a single page in a slide deck that is in front of the CEO and all the heads of departments, and you want everyone to be able to bring their part of the conversation in using the same visual.
Yeah, and so it's like, however, it's answered however our product's doing. And you can see it both at that micro level. I love visualizations, especially when we have the aggregate, where you see how the internals, basically the internal data, how that churn is impacting that aggregate number, because the executives see the top line numbers, but they rarely understand what's actually driving them. And that's what these types of visualizations really help with, because once you can communicate what's driving those top numbers, then they can actually do something about it. Because until then, they're just going to be like, we need better numbers. And a lot of times, if you don't provide the right information, executives are just going to say like, we need to do better. And like everyone needs, like they'll just like, you need to hit your targets, and it's kind of just like the stick method instead of like,
go harder.
Exactly right. Yeah, like people are being lazy. Like they don't really understand what the source of the problem is.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, I will definitely save this, and I know that saving this puts it out publicly.
You can hide it too on public, so if you don't want other people to see your half-finished work.
So that's right. We'll catch it later. Okay. Cool. Anything else I should look at or be capturing?
You mean for the current dashboard?
Yeah. Or anything else?
I mean, if you want, like a weekend project, you can start to think about how would you create separate worksheets to be like an aggregate on top, how that would work for these three.
Okay.
See if you can add that and see how you did on class on Monday.
Okay. I will give that some churn.
All right. Yeah,
cool.
Great job. I'm really impressed that everyone in class is able to keep up with, a lot of really difficult concepts. So.
Yeah, and I think it's much easier to follow along. And I think I have to admit, though, if I had to break it back down later and say, okay, here's all of these tidbits for how to get here, like all the waypoints to getting here, I think I would struggle some.
Yeah, and so that's like, and I'm obviously going to talk to Nate about getting the videos, but kind of showing you these longer paths, but then like all those little details, how to get there that you'll be able to go back and rewatch. Because you're probably like, if you want to do more complicated stuff with Tableau, you're going to get those same things. And you're like, oh yeah, how did I break that down previously in class? Then you'll be able to have that resource to kind of approach the problem.
And I love that you brought up those videos, because I was wondering that, and like with the slide decks and all that stuff. And so if there was a way to help pull all that together, that would be fantastic. Yeah,
and that's like the big challenge is like there's a technical aspect to it, but then there's also that strategic and that creative and the different ways to approach that. And that's like I'm trying to like communicate that, because it's really hard, because there's like a lot of I always overthink everything as it is, and so like it's really hard to be able to, like when I'm thinking about a problem, like to really share it like that without overwhelming people. So
yeah. Yeah, no, this is good stuff. I like going through this.
Okay, great. Well, that's great feedback. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you have other questions, and I'm going to be happy to help.
Cool. All right. Well, have a great weekend.
All right. You too.
See you, David.
See you Monday.
Yep.